What's up everyone, OJ here. Welcome back to another OJ Speaks. Today, we're going to be talking about the big news of Metroid Prime 4 in terms of the current development with Bandai Namco being scrapped with Nintendo's internal team as well and being handed over to Retro Studios, the series creator when it comes to the Prime line of Metroid games. Now, for those who don't know, Nintendo did put out about a 3-minute video with Shinya Takahashi, who's the head of Nintendo Games over there, and here is what he had to say. I am going to play the full message just for those who didn't get a chance to see it. I will be playing the full message. If you've already seen it, just go ahead and scroll ahead about 3 minutes or so.
皆さん、こんにちは。任天堂の開発の責任者をしております高橋です。いつも任天堂のゲームをプレイしていただき、誠にありがとうございます。今日はメトロイドプライムシリーズ最新作であるメトロイドプライム4についてお伝えしたいことがあります。私たちはメトロイドプライムシリーズファンの皆様が本作に寄せられている高い期待をよく理解しています。特に一昨年の E3 で初めて本作の発表をさせていただいたときに、ファンの皆様から寄せられた情熱あふれる言葉から実感しております。発表以降、皆様に何ら続報をお伝えできておりませんでしたが、その後も開発を継続した結果、大変心苦しいのですが、私たちがメトロイドプライムシリーズの続編となるこのタイトルに求める品質には届いていないという現状をお伝えせざるを得なくなりました。任天堂は常にゲームの品質を追求していますし、開発段階ではそのレベルを満たすものかどうかを日々問いかけ向き合っています。私たちが納得できる品質でないなら、それは自信を持ってお届けできませんし、ファンの皆様の期待にお応えすることもできません。このような観点から本作の開発の現状は誠に厳しいものであると判断し、この度開発チームとして難しい決断をしなければならなくなりました。それは本作の開発体制自体を見直し変更することです。具体的には、我々はプロデューサーの田辺と共にオリジナルのメトロイドプライムシリーズの開発を担当したアメリカのレトロスタジオと互いに信頼し合い、協力して開発を一から再スタートさせることにしました。そうすることでこのゲームをファンの皆様の期待に応えられるものにできると信じています。私たちはこの決断を軽々しく行ったわけではありません。開発を最初からやり直すことに近いことになりますので、当初の社内計画よりも完成が遅れてしまいます。これがメトロイドプライム4の発売を待ち望んでいただいている数多くのファンの皆様を失望させてしまう決断であることはしっかりと認識しております。皆様には発売が遅れてしまいますことを心よりお詫び申し上げます。私たちがこのゲームの進捗状況を次にご報告できるのはまだまだ先のこととなり、開発には長い時間が必要になってしまいますが、完成した暁にはこれまでのメトロイドプライムシリーズと肩を並べられるように開発してまいりますので、任天堂とレトロスタジオを代表して本件につきましてどうかご理解いただけますよう心からお願い申し上げます。ありがとうございました。
Alright, so a couple takeaways from what Shinya Takahashi had to say first here, and then I'll give you guys some insight into what's going on based on a source that I have heard from. Apparently there's going to be some more information coming out from other people maybe. I mean, obviously there's going to be a lot of people talking about this today, but I did get DM'd a couple things. But you guys definitely should take this as rumor in terms of what I say with the whole, like, what's potentially going on with the game in terms of why it was scrapped and Nintendo's thought process. So let me go ahead and talk first about what Shinya Takahashi had to say and then my own thoughts on the development of the game. So with this here, I think that it's good that Nintendo was transparent about what's going on. The quality in terms of the game and what they wanted to do is just not there, like he explained. And some people even stated, oh, well, they're concerned that the game is just going to get outright canceled. But I don't think that's the case, and I don't think that's what he was saying here in this video. He was just trying to explain that with what Nintendo's been doing with the game, it just wasn't up to snuff. And they probably announced it maybe a bit too early because all they had was a title screen, and we still have not seen a scrap of gameplay yet from this title. We haven't seen anything, and we haven't really even heard much about it. So I think it was the right call to make sure that they come out and apologize. A very clean, simple video letting people know kind of what happened. Obviously not saying everything, but just saying, hey, we're going back to Retro Studios, and that's a good call as well. Unfortunately, Retro Studios does not have all the same people there who made the Prime games. Like, a lot of the lead people who were in charge of Prime 1, Prime 2, Prime 3 are not there anymore. Now, there's still some, don't get me wrong, it's not like everybody's left, but it's not like all of them are there. So this could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, I'm not really sure. I think Nintendo's kind of somewhat in a catch-22 or double-edged sword or something like that when it comes to Metroid Prime, because they want to make a great Western style game, because this is obviously Western with Metroid, how the first person and everything like that. They want to make a great one, but then again, at the same time, it's like, do they have the talent and the team over there at Retro Studios to make it up to the quality that we saw with Metroid Prime 1? That's the thing. Metroid Prime 2 and Metroid Prime 3, those are good, but you want a better quality than the best that you've done in the series. And do they have that talent to do that at Retro Studios at this point? We're going to have to wait and see on that one. But let's talk a little bit more about the behind the scenes things here, and also my own opinion in addition to what I've heard. So I did get a DM talking about a few different things here, and from what I understand, Nintendo is hell-bent on not repeating the past few mistakes that they've made with Metroid games. For example, Metroid Other M, and how it was so badly received, the value of that game completely shot down, and that was the last time that they had a Japanese development studio on a major Metroid game. Now, not a Metroid Prime game, but still a Metroid game. So that's one reason why this was scrapped and then thrown back to Retro Studios. Another thing is that Metroid Federation Force. Look at all the bad PR over the past 10 years that the Metroid franchise has gotten. They really haven't had anything super successful outside of Metroid Samus Returns. And I mean successful in terms of reception from gamers and everything. But that wasn't a Prime game, and that wasn't a main Metroid 3D game. It was a remake of Metroid 2. So there really hasn't been anything for consoles or the bigger style Metroid game that has done anything for the past 10 years or so, and Nintendo is hell-bent and very worried about not upsetting the Metroid fans that they feel that they've let down over a long period of time just because of the receptions of Metroid Other M and also Metroid Prime Federation Force, and Nintendo does not want to run into that. From what I understand, canceling the development in terms of how it was going and the quality standards that they weren't living up to with the game in its current shape, Metroid Prime 4, was not worth the headache of just seeing it through than having a game that gets reviewed poorly or is just not good and doesn't retain itself in the long run. So better yet to just stop everything and restart it and make sure that you have a clear focus on what you want to do going forward. But I do think, getting into more of my opinion on the matter here, I do think that I said this just a bit ago. I was like, does anybody here in the chat trust the Japanese developer to make a first-person shooter type of game? I know it's a first-person action adventure with Metroid, but you're in that perspective. Does anybody actually trust completely a Bandai Namco or whoever's Nintendo's internal team to make a Metroid Prime first-person type of game? That's why I was questioning whether they were going to shift the perspective, but a lot of you guys brought up that, well, wait a minute, OJ, like, they said first-person adventure in the fact sheet when they revealed the game at E3, which was true, but I still was like, I don't know about this. I put this out on Twitter, I put it out in videos that I've done before, and I guess I was right about that because it wasn't up to the quality standards, and Nintendo didn't even trust their own internal and also Bandai Namco to make a correct first-person Metroid game. You're gonna have to give that to a Western developer. We just don't see a lot of Japanese developers that can do first-person person like that. I think the most successful thing that I've seen from a Japanese developer in terms of a large-scale game is Resident Evil 7, and I hate that game, but I know other people really do like that game, and I know that they did it right when it comes to it. So overall, right, not my own personal opinion, but overall people do like Resident Evil 7, and it doesn't seem like it's a weird game, even though it's a Japanese developer making a first-person type of game. So we haven't seen a lot of examples of it. That's why I was very skeptical whether they could pull this off, if it was going to be completely first person, if they're going to shift perspectives, maybe have an option for third person. I just didn't know, and it seems like, yeah, they were definitely having some issues overall. Now, what does this mean for the future of the game? Is the game going to be bad at this point? Well, we don't know. We have to wait and see what Retro has for us, and it's going to take some time. Now, I do want to get into a couple different things that people have probably been talking about, and like when this game was going to be initially, or at least what people thought it was going to be released. Like, Nintendo never gave this a 2019 release date. I know some people hoped for that. I think I talked about it a little bit, but I never said this is like a confirmed game or this is definitely going to happen in 2019. I wasn't sure about it because we just hadn't really been getting development updates at all or anything. And what does this mean for potentially like a new game maybe kind of coming in to fill the gap? Well, we have Metroid Prime Trilogy. There's been that rumor that's been out there forever. I still feel that that game is going to come maybe in 2019. So maybe we get Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3 to fill in the gap. But I also think if they do have time, or maybe they're already working on this, they can get Mercury Steam. Those are the developers behind Metroid Samus Returns on the Nintendo 3DS, and one of Nintendo's internal teams to work on a brand new 2D Metroid game for the Nintendo Switch, or even take something else that they've had, for example, like a Metroid Fusion, a Super Metroid, and remake that for the Nintendo Switch in the meantime. You're not going to have as much trouble with development. 2D games are always a lot easier than 3D first-person games to make. I don't think there should be too many issues with that one. If you got Mercury Steam to make Metroid Samus Returns in not too long of a time, I think they can do the same thing with a game on the Nintendo Switch and bringing back one of the older ones, or making a completely new game, or just making a completely new 2D Metroid game. That might be a little bit too much, but you never know with these type of things. So here is what I'd like to see in between this large gap that we're going to get when it comes to the release of Metroid Prime 4. Let's see a brand new 2D Metroid game, maybe not a large scale game, make it a little bit smaller, but still respectable amount when it comes to content and everything. You can make a brand new 2D Metroid game, or bring back one of the old ones. I think that would be really cool, and Nintendo might already be working on that. Nintendo did that before, right? We've seen this with Metroid Prime and Metroid Fusion. Those two games were kind of developed somewhat in the same time frame and had some nice connectivity between them when it comes to what you can do in the suits and all of that with the Game Boy Advance and the GameCube. So I would love to see something along the lines of that, and I think that Nintendo could make it happen with the separate studio. We have to wait maybe for an E3 announcement, or maybe it comes out of Nintendo Direct. And I know just by looking at that video, Shinya Takahashi and Nintendo, they're really upset about what's going on. But I think at the end of the day, you want to 100% avoid any type of Metroid Other M or Metroid Prime Federation Force situation. And I think that was probably the best call. If the game just wasn't living up to the standards that people would expect, it's a good call to cancel it. I mean, that doesn't make it like, oh, okay, or anything like that, because they announced it like 2 years ago. That's why you don't announce things so early. So that sucks that they announced it that early. But at the same time, it is what it is, and there's not anything that any of us could do at this point to change that. They just have to get it right when they remake the game, when they just start over development with Retro Studios. What do you guys think about this whole situation here? I know a lot of you guys have a lot of thoughts and opinions. You guys have already expressed that on Twitter, so let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of PlayerEssence across the internet, in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube live gaming pages. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for this RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the gym for the next video. Peace.